All righty.
All right. All right. So good night, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is WISE Network, WISE, Women Inspiring, Supporting, Empowering Network. And what we do, we bring women together of diverse backgrounds. We bring them, um, women from, most of us are from Hartford, but we have members in Florida, we have members in New Haven. So we're community based, we're based in Connecticut, but our primary goal is to inspire, to support, and empower women, their families, and their children. And we promote growth, entrepreneurship, wellness, positive contributions to our community, and many more. This is our WISE conversation. We host these monthly, and our conversation sometimes, our topics comes from lived experiences. So something may happen to one of us, and we decide that we will find an expert in that field, and that expert will have a conversation with us in regards to that topic. Tonight we have Yvonne Alston, and she is from, she hasn't, well, let me read about her. Yvonne is an unapologetically authentic amplifier and advocate for diversity, equity, and inclusion and belonging. She established Indelible Impressions Consulting to advance important conversations, education, and competences, look at me, to help organizations understand the importance of culture and its impact on the human experience. Her firm and team focuses on centering the employee experience, amplifying personal and professional values, and inspiring hearts and minds as they challenge systems of inequity, champion dimensions of diversity, and drive inclusion practices holistically. Yvonne encourages an environment where so tonight is one of those where vulnerability is welcome. Empathy and compassion meets challenging discussions on subjects like biases, cultural differences, equity, and more. She provides tools and resources aimed at helping overcome engagement barriers and develop greater respect, empathy, and compassion for our fellow humans. Her ability to build trust and inspire understanding has been noted as tremendous asset to the work that she has done. I met Yvonne at a networking event, and we've met 2 times. And I like to tell a story. So at the networking event, Yvonne was in the back, and she was asking a few questions. And at the end of her questioning, I thought to myself, the question that she asked, I was like, very, very deep question. So at the end, everybody was trying to meet Yvonne, and I stood at the back and I held held my time, and I said, I need to meet you. And I met Yvonne, and we've been in conversation since. You are going to enjoy tonight. I'm telling you this. And if you are an employer, or if you have an employer who needs someone of that to bring her to your company, please reach out to her. You will not be disappointed. Yvonne,
Yes.
Thank you for coming and joining us this evening. You have the
Yes. Oh, thank you so much, Karen. I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate being here with all of you women. I know the night you speak of because Elizabeth Bashir down here on our screen, she was with me. She's a member of my team here in Connecticut. And so thank you, Elizabeth, for coming through tonight. Thank you to all of you because I know it's kind of late. It's 7:11, right? So I know most of us are used to like winding down for the night and getting into our warm and cozies and everything. So I appreciate you taking the time to be on. My hope is that all of you who are participating got the opportunity to get the questionnaire that was sent out to you all. It was part of tonight's discussion around who are you, and us taking a deeper dive to explore and excavate some of our identity. Um, Part of this conversation was born out of when Karen and I were just talking about unapologetic authenticity, what that meant to me, how I went about developing that, the fact that it's iterative, right? So who I was a couple years ago, with the career that I had in corporate for 22 years before I launched my own firm, before different aspects of my life occurred, that was one version of myself, right? And I think all of us women are likely evolutionary women, right? We've gone through different seasons and different challenges in our lives where we've learned something and we've grown from it. At least, hopefully, that's the goal anyway. So, with that, we thought that it would be a great conversation to have with you all to kind of do some of that work. Part of that also because for all of us that are on here that identify as women of color, we oftentimes wear a lot of hats. And unfortunately, because of society, we also have worn or do wear a lot of different masks in order to navigate through life. And so we're going to dig into that a little bit tonight for the time that we have left till 8 o'clock. So without further ado, I want us to talk a little bit about what experiences have shaped us, right? Because it's not just us, it's not just our families, it's not just where we went to school and those things. There are a lot of different things that shape who we become and how we show up in the world. So for you, I would love some of you, before we get into the nitty-gritty, to identify for yourself, and if you would come off mute and just let us know what are some of the experiences that have shaped who you are known to be. So Karen, I'll start with you. What is one experience that has shaped who you are known to be? Not who you are, not who you believe you are, but who you have been known to be.
I think one is, and I think most people know me from there, working at in Hartford at Jamoki Academy. I think
Okay.
working there, people thought of me as I'm not sure, whatever they thought of me, they thought that I could manage and do anything, which I think is
Ah,
a good thing.
yeah, because of your role at Jamoki Academy and what you did there.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? And this is going to be very participatory. So please don't make me call you out and call you to the stage. Just go ahead and just spotlight yourself. Yes, Elizabeth.
Yeah, I'll jump in. I feel like so much of my identity in my past selves has been rooted in athletics. And I think through that experience, high school, college, and beyond, it brought out so many different characteristics in me that weren't just skill based, or at least
Mm,
physically. And
yeah.
I think coming into each setting and evolving into each new woman that I'm becoming, there are still so many values and characteristics, especially around leadership, that were born in that element of my life. And it's somewhat defined how I still even show up in spaces, though I'm far beyond the weight room and whatnot. It's still something that sticks with me and shapes me.
Yeah. Nice. For
Yeah.
those of you who might be curious, Elizabeth did the shot put when she was in college. So yeah, she can flex. All right. Thank you, Elizabeth. Anyone else?
I'll go. So for
Yes,
me,
hi,
I would
Kanisha.
say the experiences that have shaped me, I'm an educator, I'm a school principal. So, you know, the
Okay.
plethora of responsibilities that comes with that title. And
Yes.
being the nucleus of different environments that I've found myself to be in. And also
Yes.
for a very long time, being the daughter of the parents that I have. My mom is online, she's a retired principal. So just
Yes.
from the reputation or association with them, and then having to, morph myself into my own identity outside of
Yes.
association.
Okay. Very good. And so, yes, it's absolutely true. These experiences have shaped not just other people's perceptions of us, but even our own, right? How many times have the experiences that we've had shaped how we feel about ourselves? Whether we were at the core of that experience, whether it's something we did, or perhaps it's something that was done to us, whether it was a good thing, right? Where somebody amplified us and supported us in something that was really important, or perhaps somebody hurt us in some way, whether that was emotional or physical, whatever those things are. A lot of times our experiences has shaped how we feel about ourselves. The other thing is that it's also shaped how we identify in many respects. If you had parents who spoke well over you and told you how smart you were, right? Then perhaps you identify as someone who's very smart. But if you had a parent or someone in your household, in your life that was very influential, perhaps they spoke negative things over you. And that, unfortunately, became part of your identity. It also shapes whether or not we prioritize ourselves. If you grew up in an environment, in a community or a culture where it was all about prioritizing everyone else and not ourselves, right? We might often still, as adult women, continue to put ourselves last. There's all this talk these days about self-care, and self-care is very important. But I will tell you, for myself as a Black woman, it was very much a new concept to me. I did not grow up thinking about myself and caring for myself in that way, of actually carving out time with intentionality to really support my mental health, to support my body, whether that's through exercise, or here goes a big one for us that we don't really know how to do well sometimes, and that's rest, right? And just not have a lot going on, but actually to take time to rest our hearts, our minds, our bodies, our souls, even to a certain extent. Um, and these experiences certainly shaped whether we would prioritize if we need something. I will tell you that when my daughter was younger, I used to always amplify her needs over my own. No matter how tired I was, I would get up and do the things that she needed to be done. If there was something I wanted to do, that would always take a back seat to what she wanted to do or what she needed, right? And when we even think about our health or well-being, we know that data reflects that women are still the leaders, Black women are still the leaders in heart disease, in when it comes to mental health challenges, because of some of our society stereotypes and tropes around being a strong Black woman and what that means, right? And how we show up and what we ask of others in terms of support, or perhaps not even asking because we're not used to that, because it's not culturally how we grew up, it's not how we were socialized. And then as well, if and how we advance ourselves, right? There's just now the discussions happening around the globe about mental health, right? When I was growing up, I don't know about any of you, but mental health was not a topic, right? It was, if you were upset or sad about something, you go take a walk or you pray and you get over it real fast. There was not this talk about going to therapy or dealing with your trauma. It was, you push it down and you march on. And that was typically how you were advised by family, by friends, by whomever. How many of us have dealt with that in our life? Where, whatever, right? Yes, Ayana, absolutely. And so that's something that is new, and it's something that's important. Our experiences have shaped whether or not we're advancing ourselves and taking care of our bodies, taking care of ourselves by going to the gym, by maybe going to a nutritionist to find out how should we be eating more healthy versus going and getting medication, or finding some other easy ways and shortcuts to addressing our health issues. I know that in my family structure, it was like, just give me a pill. Just give me a pill. No, you're not messing with my diet. I like what I like. I eat what I eat. You are not messing with my food. Just go ahead and give me a pill, right? And even if we wanted to change our diets, depending on your family dynamic, that was very hard to do because for certain family structures, I know mine was very male dominant. When I was growing up, it was whatever my dad wanted. That's what we were having. If somebody tried to say, well, we should eat something healthier, it was like, I put roof overhead, I put food on the table. You don't tell me what I can eat. I eat what I eat, right? And so for that as well, it really made me, it became challenging to think about my own health. And then educationally, right? I'm talking to a lot of adults these days, a lot of families where their children are going to college for the first time. And some of them are thinking about, like, oh, I have to do this for my child, and I have to go and get a second job so my child can come out of college debt free, versus like, I no, actually, perhaps it's my time to invest in me. Maybe it's also my time while I'm supporting them and what they're doing to go after some of my educational dreams. Maybe I never got a chance to finish that associate's degree or that bachelor's degree, or maybe I really wanted to go and get my master's for a time. But certain experiences that have shaped us, especially as women and Black women, if the messaging from society and our families has been to put ourselves on hold for everybody else's wants and needs, right? These are the things that we just put on pause. And so, as a result of that, what we have found between society and I think as well as our families is the fact that it becomes very hard to figure out who are we at our core that is not dictated by everything else around us, right? And so when we think about those things around us, I think about what happens in our intimate interpersonal lives. And that is perhaps how we are seen by others, that initial question that I asked you all, and how we see ourselves, how we show up, whether or not we know who we are and we allow that version of ourselves to show up, is oftentimes dictated by parents and partners, right? Our siblings, whether or not we feel like we can be fully ourselves, even with our friends. If we have hobby partners, right? So that's people that maybe you work out with, maybe those are your homegirls that you hang with for happy hour or whatever. You've got your friends that like to go hike and be out in nature. Do we always feel like we can show up as us? What if we have different dynamics of ourselves? What if we have different interests that we've never revealed about ourselves? What happens when we are around those people? Well, as the picture depicts, we do something called masking. We mask or we assimilate, or perhaps in the workplace, even and in other areas of life, we code switch, right? And does everybody know what those terms mean? Assimilation, masking, code switching? If anybody doesn't, feel free to raise your hand and I'll be glad to give a brief explanation. But from a 10,000-foot standpoint, it's basically when we create different types, different aspects of our personality to show up in certain environments where we feel like our authentic selves either will not be welcome, or they won't be appreciated, or there could be some type of harm, usually some type of emotional harm done to us if we do show up as our most authentic selves. And that can happen with our neighbors, right? That can happen in our communities. That can even happen with therapists, people that we're talking to, that we're trying to put on a good front for, that we want to be seen as these women who have it all together. And meanwhile, I don't know about you, but there are days that I am a hot mess, dumpster fire, right? But I don't want other people to see that because I don't think that they will be able to understand. Perhaps I don't think that they'll appreciate it. Perhaps I don't think I'll get the support that I need. Perhaps it's fear. Whatever those things are, right? They keep us from, number one, identifying those different parts of our most authentic selves, and moreover, allowing them to come forward. And I think that that's a real challenge for many of us because, again, so much of our identity is based on, as Karen said, where we used to work and who people know us to be in communities. As Elizabeth said, if I'm known as an athlete, if I'm known as this thing that I do, that is tied directly to expectations that people have of me. And what happens if I let them down? What happens if I don't show up that way? I am very much well known because of the work that I do. And I think just part of my personality as being very empathetic and compassionate. But let's not get it twisted. I have moments where I can handle business. Let's just put it that way, right? Where I am not so empathetic and compassionate. Well, I will give you the business and a read, right? But I also understand that that's the expectation that people have of me, right? So it can put us in this quandary between who we are and how we show up. And so I'm just curious from some of the women that haven't spoken yet, how does this resonate with you? Do you think that, or can you be transparent and vulnerable enough to articulate, like, yeah, I don't always show up for who I am, but I show up how I need to show up for the environment or the people? Patty, I see you nodding.
Yeah, I think I'm like that with my family, maybe even with friends.
Yeah.
My world could be upside down, but I have to show up as the strong person because I want to be strong for everybody else. So I think showing up for who I am at that moment or what I'm going through, it's a burden on the people around me because they're going through things. So I feel like they need more than me. I always think everybody needs more than me. So I can just shelf whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that because I think that's really important. So, how many of us, and I know a lot of us don't know each other, but I think this is really important, right? Because the more that we are vulnerable and transparent, we give ourselves permission and we give other people permission. So, how many women, by the show of your right hand up, know exactly what Patty is talking about and do the exact same thing of deprioritizing what we need for those around us because we believe that what they need of us is more important than what we need for ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But isn't that the way we're raised?
In a lot of respects, that is the way that we were raised, right? But that doesn't necessarily make it correct. And that doesn't mean that that is in our best interest as we grow and evolve
True.
as women.
True.
You know, there's a saying that says we teach people how to treat us, right? And the
Absolutely.
one thing,
Absolutely.
right? So, yes, the one thing I became very aware of when I became a mother was that I don't want my daughter to repeat some of the same patterns based on how I grew up. And so making
I
her
agree.
understand and realize like these things are important. And I battled with that at times, right? Between my responsibilities as a mother and my responsibilities as a wife to my family, etc., and my responsibilities to me. Because here's the deal, and Patty, you hit on something that I think is very important. In order for the best versions of us to show up for everyone else in our lives, the best version has to show up for us. The best version of
True.
us has to be given opportunity to show up for ourselves before we can give that out to other people. Because what ends up happening is we continue to pour from wells that are already close to dry. And then we are the ones, right, that end up going down. We talked about the heart disease and the health issues and the mental health and all of that. And a lot of times that happens because we continue to prioritize everyone else and everything else, like work, like society's expectations, right? All of those things. And so it's really important for us to really be thinking about, and that's part of the reason why I gave you all the questionnaire, because I wanted you to sit perhaps in the space of both discomfort and honesty and transparency with yourselves about who you are, what you want for yourself. And are you even allowing yourself, giving yourself permission to even think like that or feel like that or to explore that existence? All right. So with that, in order for us, I believe, to get to the root of our most authentic selves, and this is a big reason as to why it's so important, is because for many of us, we're trying to identify whether it's we work for someone or maybe we're trying to figure out what we want to do as an entrepreneur. Maybe we're thinking about what does the next stage of life look like, something I want to pursue just for me. We're trying to understand more about our purpose and our passions. And there are many people who have talked to me about, oh, when you start talking about diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, like you just glow. You could tell how much passion you have about it. And I'm like, yes, that's true. I do have a lot of passion about it. And what I also have is a sense of deep purpose about it. And those are two different things. So I would love for someone to come off mute to talk about, do you know the difference between purpose and passion? Because a lot of people conflate those two things and that they're not the same thing in definition or even how they show up. So I'll start with passion. Who knows the definition of passion? Or wants to take a stab at it, so to speak? Take a guess. Yes, Kanisha.
So I often actually on my Twitter it says I kind of reference that my passion embodies it supports my purpose, right? So it's the strong inclination that I have for the love of wanting to inspire and support and to impact the nation's future, which is children, right?
Yes.
Because I have that deep passion, then it supports my purpose, which is the outcome that's ultimately happening based on the direction of where I'm going with the passion.
Okay, very good. So in my research, what was revealed to me is passion is more internal, right? It's about the emotions, that motivation that Kanisha's talking about, right? What makes us feel good. Whereas purpose is all about the reason or the why behind it, right? It's for example, do what contributes, right? So for passions are about this inward focus, whereas this is externally focused, right? For Kanisha, it's about the changes that she wants to make in society, for the youth for tomorrow. For me, my purpose is to help change hearts and minds so that people have the ability to show up as their most authentic selves in every environment that they go into. When I talk about unapologetic authenticity, that is part of the purpose, that for myself and for others, there should be no more leaving parts of myself outside of rooms or environments just so others can be more comfortable with my presence, or that my presence is somehow more palatable to them, right? And so that's part of my purpose. The passion that I have right? That burns inside me, that makes me want to keep going and going and going. That is about what's inside of my heart and my mind. And for me, the magic happened regarding identifying that purpose after understanding more about this inward passion that I have, was when I was finally able to figure out how to align the purpose and the passion with my greater capabilities. So, for example, not just what I was good at anymore, right? But how do I take what I was good at, which for a season of my career was communications and marketing and doing culture work within organizations, right? To this passion that I had that burned inside me to want people to not only just do the right thing, but have a heart and mind that was truly inclusive of others, regardless of differences among us. And then the purpose to actually put that out into the world to change society for the better as a result of that work. So I'm curious for some of you, before we watch this quick video, how many of you know what your passions are or your purpose, or if you know both, to be able to state that? Somebody?
Someone else?
Anybody? Ayana?
So,
There you go.
oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, for me, my passion is more on a spiritual side. I have a passion for souls. And so my desire and my determination is to see as many souls saved within the Christian realm. And so I put everything into that. So everything that surrounds me is more spiritual and more Christian and more church. So from I was 11, all I know is church. And so that's the passion that I've had from a child. And so I put everything into it. And I think that pushes me forward into my purpose. And so my purpose is more to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ, and also to make sure, like almost like, I'm trying to find the word to tell you, but almost to inspire young people like within the church to say, I can do better. I came from this, I can be that. You don't have to be at the bottom, you can be at the top. You don't have to be the tail, you can be the head, just to show them a different light. Sometimes kids go through so many stuff out in society, but when they come to church, it's a safe place. It's a safe space, it's a safe zone. And I want to impart that to them, that this is a place where you can come for safety. So that's my passion. It also pushes my purpose.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. Anyone else?
Yes. Hi, this is Anthea.
Hi, Cynthia.
Hi. My passion from ever since I've known myself has always been health. So it's whether it's personal health for me or for those around me, that's the thing I speak about the most. People who are close to me, they typically call me, okay, what can I do to help this or to help whatever is going on with them? So that's always been my passion. And indirectly, it is my purpose, working on something towards a greater goal where that's concerned. But that's what people know me for, and that's what I live every single day.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That's excellent. Is there anyone else?
Hi, I can go. This is Ashley. Sorry if there's any background noise. I'm walking home from work, but I'm very passionate about my job and just paving the way for others that look like me within corporate America. And so in my current position, I'm just being very intentional while being my authentic self at the same time as I work my way to that position.
Oh, I think you cut off right at the tail end there, Ashley.
Oh, sorry. I was saying, as I work myself up towards that higher position within my job.
Yeah. Well, I want to commend you on that, because I know that, sometimes in certain work environments, it is very challenging to be your most authentic self, to share what you're thinking and feeling if the others in the room are, you either know or believe may not be receptive to that, right? So just want to commend you on that. Absolutely. And so what I'm thinking now is how important it is to understand the dynamics that are at play that require us to show up in this very meaningful way. And that is almost intrinsically based on if we have self-love, if we can love ourselves, to prioritize ourselves accordingly. It's not to say or to take away our love for anyone else in our life or for the responsibilities that either we have, whether we welcome those responsibilities or we're just stepping up into moments of responsibility. But this particular clip by Denise Francis, I thought was incredibly powerful. And so I just wanted to share this small clip with you before we get into deeper discussions regarding the worksheets that were sent to all of you in advance. Can you hear it?
No.
No? Hmm. Let's share.
You might have to stop sharing, and when you do go to share
Yes.
the screen,
Yeah,
there's
I
that
got to do it as a
that pops.
video.
Yeah.
All right, let me do that real quick. I'm going to stop share and then reshare. I forgot about share sound. See, I told you, Karen, I haven't used Zoom in forever. I've been on Teams so much. All right, let's try that again. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go back. Here we go.
Can something so simple as self-love have the potential to heal Black women and possibly even their culture? Well, the answer to that actually lies within the definition itself. Dr. Autumn Griffin defined self-love as the will to protect, nurture, preserve, and celebrate one's emotional, physical,
Are you guys talking? Because I can't hear anything.
Can you hear this?
No.
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 Ah, really?
It
I'm
says
not
on the
sure.
top. It
We
says
heard it in the beginning and then it just cut out.
it says on the top
Okay.
left that the original sound is off.
It says the original sound is off.
In the top left for musicians, it says off.
That's odd. Okay. Well, I am sorry, but I will send you all the clip because maybe that's better at this juncture so we don't waste too much time with the technicality. Okay, there we go. All right. So what I wanted to do next is, let me see if this will now share. Okay, there we go. Is I had intended on us being able to do a breakout group and to put you all in the breakout rooms to have further discussions on some of the premises that are outlined, some of the questions that are outlined in the handout that was sent to you with registration. But because it seems like we don't have that capability this evening, what I would like to do is just kind of help us to I'd like to facilitate a more open conversation about that. And so if everyone has the sheet that, the document that was sent to you from Karen, and does anyone not have it? If you could just notate that, and then maybe I could drop it into, oh, Patty,
I'll put it
awesome.
on the
Yes.
chat.
Listen, did it. I love it. She handled that like right away before I could even ask. So I would like us, with the limited time that we have left this evening, to look at question number 3, because some of you have articulated your passions and your purpose. For some of you, it is inextricably tied to your careers and to what you do for a living. But for some others, I dare say, we might have passions in other areas. You might love to dance. Deborah enjoys spreading the gospel, right? And making sure that as many people hear that as possible. And I would like us to really think about what is our level of involvement in our passions. I would like to know, what are you doing to support that? And if it's low and you'd like to be higher, what are some of the barriers that exist to you increasing that level of involvement? Ayana.
Good evening, everyone. So my level of involvement, I would say, is pretty medium. I say medium because I would like it to be higher. My passion and my purpose are intricately entwined. I am a nutrition coach. I'm an educator. So, teaching children, of course, educating children, that is one of my passions. More specifically, as a nutrition coach, I work with women and families because I want to bring greater awareness to how our health and our medical status down the line is so specifically related to our nutrition. And nutrition is not just about food. So the reason I say medium is because I want it to be higher. I want to get into schools because I think it's a joke that we still consider dairy to be a food group. So the barriers are strictly not political, just, the barriers to public education. So that, I mean, it's a literal barrier, not necessarily like a personal barrier, but they're intertwined, my passion and my purpose.
Yeah. So for you, based on that, so thank you for offering that tonight. So for you, what do you feel like to overcome that hurdle in terms of the politics in higher education? And I feel your pain. Indelible has a higher ed client right now, an entire school system. And so I'm very aware of the politics that happen within school systems. Venetia is surely, as a principal, very aware, and anyone else here who works in higher ed. What is it that you think might be possible in terms of overcoming that? Are there other routes? Are there other ways in which you might be able to increase your level of involvement, even if it's not directly going through the doors at the school systems?
Definitely. And I feel like I'm chipping away at the back door, which I'm okay with. So I've worked with Bloomfield Public Library. I just solidified a contract with Hartford Public Library. I looked at Bloomfield Leisure Services. They're a little unorganized and very slow. So that's just kind of sitting on the shelf and has been for a couple of years. I've moved on to people who are more interested, where my efforts aren't wasted. So that's kind of like a backdoor way of going about it. Also working through PTOs, because I am involved in the PTO in my school. So I have given a workshop at my school specifically. So I'd like to get involved with other PTOs as well. And it was kind of funny to see one of the attendees. I'm not sure if she's still here, but Dr. Kamala, we actually were co-presidents on a PTO in New Haven, and I'm now all the way up in Bloomfield. So very small world. But yes, that's some of the ways to kind of get around those barriers.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, and I appreciate so much the fact that you are looking at the various vantage points, right, in which you can still push your passion and your purpose forward, even if the systems or those around you, right, aren't necessarily going to support that, that you're finding other ways, other mechanisms to move forward. Anybody else?
So I was given wait time because I'm a talker, so I have to gauge myself to not dominate like a forum, but also a learner. So being very passionate about being an educator, for me, some of the things that and I think I'm already at a close to a high, right? And
Okay.
it bothers me that I'm like in my mid 40s, I'm 44, and I'm not necessarily exactly where I aspire to be. But some of the things that I do, it's that I constantly engage in continuous learning. I'm an avid learner. I love to read. I just love to get myself immersed in knowledge. I love meeting people and building relationships. I think there's so much power in interactions, right? The greatest wealth of learning is from and with each other. So I really do enjoy networking and collaborating with others on different projects because it's and it doesn't matter a person's status because there's so much to learn from every single individual and interactions that you have. And I'm even more fascinated where innovation is and where it's going right now, and embracing the innovation but not necessarily getting too lost within it, just saying, but holding true to what is and what should be, and just being able to advocate for education. Like Ayana shared, there are obstacles because the way in which I truly want to advocate for education, which involves that cause that she's so passionate about, also there are so many roadblocks, right? So it's different ways to get around it, for sure. So the time is an obstacle, and sometimes the courage, because when you take that leap, it's what's next, what consequence are you willing to take, right? The intended consequence and the unintended consequence. Am I willing to?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and that's part of the reason why I put question 10 on there, right? Which is, what sacrifices are required of you or others to live out this purpose? Because it doesn't mean you can have something innate, as this is the thing that I feel like for myself that I was born and specifically designed by God to do. I feel that in every fiber of my being. That said, there were sacrifices that I was going to have to make to do it the way that I wanted to, right? I could have sat in corporate and enjoyed the money and the prestige and blah, blah, blah. But what I really wanted to do and how I wanted to do it, the intentionality that I wanted to have with it, the fact that I wanted radical empathy and compassion to help lead and guide that, but also I wasn't comfortable with just awareness. I wanted to drive action and accountability. I wanted to hold board of directors and executives accountable for the culture in their organizations. And I wanted to do it without apology. And I wanted to, make an impact. I wanted to see these outcomes for employees. And so the sacrifice for that was stepping away from corporate and launching my own firm. I'm very fortunate and blessed that, the firm has grown exponentially in the years since it's been in existence. And we're doing work with huge, organizations and a lot of organizations, and it feels really good. But there was a choice for sacrifice for the purpose and the passion to come forward, right? There was a leap of faith that I needed to take to step away from something that I knew, something that felt like security, or at least society had led us all to believe that work is security. But I had to step away from that in order to see this come to pass. And so we have to be willing to sacrifice some things. Sometimes that's money, sometimes that's security, sometimes that's relationships, sometimes that's time. Sometimes that's other people's expectations of us. That part, hello.
Hello.
Right? I see Karen's like, all of that.
Hello.
Right.
Well, can we hear from some other people in the chat? We
Yeah.
have a lot of other women. Could we hear?
Yeah.
We
I would
have.
take a call.
Yeah, let me
I'm ready
call out
for
some
women.
people. We have Tracy there. We have Dr. Crawford. We have Jessica.
People are being
guys,
shy.
Come on, speak up. Let's
There
go.
are some comments in the chat as well, Karen.
Okay, let me go there. Ayana, yes, I gave up corporate and the salary to step into education as a separate career, a second career. Thank you. Yes. Doreen, I love that. I actually know Elizabeth Leba. She's fabulous. And A Black Woman's Guide to Navigating the Workplace is great. I love that a lot. It's on a book. If anyone's interested, it's on Amazon and it's also on Audible. It's a fantastic book. She is pretty fearless, I have to say. I'm a fan of her work. Ayana said, give it up for the 44th. Listen, can we talk about the give it up for the 49 and a halves? 49 and a halves. Come on, I'm about to hit 50. Listen, listen. So
Debbie's quiet. How comes Debbie's so quiet?
I don't know. Debbie, come on.
I'm the
Ashley, are you related?
Debbie, but I am dying of a cold. That's why I'm keeping quiet tonight. But my passion is helping others, teaching others. And in my business, I'm a commercial mortgage broker. It is just sharing, educating, and empowering women and business owners to expand their business and to be as big as they want to be, and also identifying if they're a business or a hobby, which is sometimes limiting for certain people, but it's eye-opening for a lot of people. So my passion, as my sister who's on the line and my daughter who's on the line, Ashley, my sister Lorraine, they know my passion. I love people. I love connecting people. I love just bringing people together. So for the 80% of people that know me on this call, that's my passion. I love just being around people.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. Well, it's wonderful to see the trifecta here that's going on. So Ashley, since your mom went, I think it's only right that you follow suit, and my goodness, you two look alike. I didn't pick up on the last names right away. Now on my screen, you're right next to each other.
Sorry. Yeah, I was the one who was talking before because I was walking home from work. I'm actually in Denver, so I'm 2 hours behind. But yeah, I was mentioning that I'm just very passionate about my job. I work in a Fortune 100 company. I know a lot of other people said they left corporate America. But I've been working in this industry for a while now, and I don't know, it drives me, it fuels me. I would almost say I'm a bit of a workaholic. And so I'm really passionate about just moving my way up. I'm at a manager level position right now. And the reason why I stayed so late at work is because I was talking to my VP about my career path and what that could look like, because they see a lot in me. And so I just want to know the pathway of getting there. And so I'm being very intentional. I'm only 29 right now. And I feel like I've made a lot of accomplishments at this age. And so I'm just driven to continue to see what the opportunities out there are going to present for me.
Oh, excellent. And I hope that it's an environment that allows you to truly flourish, especially as a woman of color. That can sometimes have its own glass ceiling, or as Karen and I have talked about, I've spoken at other organizations about the glass box especially for women of color. And so I hope that you're able to ascend. I hope that they see all of your potential as a human first, as well as an asset to the organization. So yeah, I hope that continues to be, and you're able to bring your most authentic self to that environment with all of your aspirations.
Yes, and sorry, hold on. I've also kind of, or the chief legal officer has kind of taken me under her wing. She's also a person of color. So I kind of feel like I have someone to pull me up along the way. She's very connected. And so I think I have a lot of people looking out in my best interest. So thank you for your input as well. I'll definitely take that along my journey.
Great. So Lorraine Price, you were able to retire early from nursing, I'm told. And I'm curious as to what your newfound passion is.
I'm still searching to find it. I have to say that when I retired, I felt like I lost my identity. I didn't realize that as a nurse, that became my identity, and that's basically all that I knew.
Yeah.
And when I retired, I felt lost. And it was like I had to find myself again, and what do I want to do next? In fact, what happened is I ended up going back to work. It felt like perhaps that had been my passion, because I just had a need, a desire to feel useful, worthwhile. It was I felt more valued, taking care of people, saving lives, as opposed to sitting on the sofa watching TV. So I don't think I properly prepared myself for retirement, and perhaps I retired a little too soon. So the desire to go back every so often comes back to mind. Apart from that, I have other interests. Other interest has been, I've always had a passion for real estate.
Oh, okay. So if that's the case, are you able to pursue that? Are you able to maybe get your license? And
no, not interested in selling real estate, but I've always been interested in investing in real estate. I am already invested, but
all right.
So, but it's been very interesting to listen to this, to hear what you've had to say. And there was something that you said that struck me, that you basically, I guess you could, I think the way that you put it was, you tell people how you want them to treat you.
We teach people how, yes, how to
Yeah.
treat us. Yes.
Yeah, and that struck a chord with me. And it is so true, because if you if you don't represent yourself and carry yourself and command for yourself what it is that you want and how you want to be treated, people will trample over you, and they will take advantage where they can. So that statement that was made a little earlier, it struck a chord.
Oh, well, I'm glad in that, you know, that's something that I heard along the way from somebody at some point in life, and that's always stuck with me. Whether it's my interactions in workplaces, it's my interactions with people interpersonally, and even with myself, right? Because can we think about how important it is that we are in a relationship with ourselves? Right? And how we treat ourselves, how we see ourselves, how we talk to ourselves, right? That all we are teaching ourselves how to treat ourselves. And then when people see how we treat ourselves, they learn how to treat us or not to treat us, what we will and will not tolerate. What are our boundaries? What are the parameters around how you might speak to me, how you might engage with me? You know, there are a lot of people, especially for us as Black women and brown women, that the world, our history is built on the world underestimating us in many ways, right? And that is both historical and current day. And I think what we're seeing right now, and it's very inspiring and encouraging for me, is to see how Black women and brown women are taking up space unapologetically. We are taking up space in organizations. We are taking up space in communities. My very community where I live has, my husband and I were talking, we got a new next door neighbor, and I was like, our neighborhood's getting so brown. This is amazing. We kind of live in suburbia. And I'm like, but this is so dope. Like, I'm glad I'm still here to witness and see this, right? We're just taking up more space as we always should have. But we know that there are systems and there are rules in society that have tried to continue to keep us on the margins. But I do believe that that day is coming to an end. And the more that we are clear on who we are and what our passions and purposes are and what we want for ourselves, and going hard and intentionally after those things, we will continue to take up more space and more space, and we will normalize, right, the authenticity that we deserve to be and to showcase to the world. I earnestly believe that. So I know we're slightly over time, but there's one question that I'm just going to throw out there, and I would love it if every woman could answer this, because I think it's important. What is the one thing, if you could name one thing that you are unapologetically authentic about? What is one thing?
My journey.
So, oh, Tracy just came with it. She was like, all right, Tracy, say more. Just give us
My
a little
journey.
some context.
Because sometimes we don't understand why God has chosen us to be in the position that we have are going through or have came out of. And sometimes we need reverence and revelation to that journey. And I'm thankful for it because it shows me the growth. It's the stretching. But it's the outcome and impact I have for other people's lives. There's nothing that I have went through that I didn't turn around and reach out and help somebody else get through.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of titles, I have a lot of degrees, a lot of certifications, but every time I move, I'm helping and connecting. I find that my nickname is what is her name? Kerry Washington.
Oh, yes.
And
yes. I know who you're talking about. Yes. From Scandal.
I can't think of her. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Olivia Pope.
Yes.
And I find it's because you're able to collect the information and know how to use it when it's needed. Right. Yep. And I find myself doing that. So sometimes I don't understand the journey that I'm on, but I'm obedient.
Yep.
To God, nevertheless. I want to say it was a year ago that God put in my heart, hear our voices and not our cries, which is an advocacy group for Black women who are looking to have a voice in the healthcare field. And throughout this year, I've been struggling with health of not being listened to after a car accident. And it opened my eyes to how to file complaints beyond the HIPAA compliance, how to hold people accountable. And when you said hold people accountable, that's what I do throughout my day. I hold people accountable, but I also write policies and procedures, and I deal with a lot of compliantary factors throughout the day. So my journey is short answer.
Well, that was fantastic. I am a firm believer in John Lewis's philosophy of asking God not why this is happening to me, but why is this happening for me? Because the first puts you in a position of sorrow and a little bit of pity party and woe is me, whereas asking God, why is this happening for me, puts you on a fact-finding journey. And it allows for deeper introspection. It allows for you to have a conversation, if that's what you so desire, with God, and to put yourself in a position of ever learning and ever growing. And I found that for me, for some very hard, large losses that I've had in my life in the past couple of years, including my parents, is that instead of asking the former, asking that latter question, why is this happening for me? I discovered quite a bit about myself and about life that I would not have known otherwise. It is what I often refer to as the better question, asking the better question. So I appreciate everything you said, Tracy. Thank you for sharing. All right, let's keep it going. Karen.
Yeah, we have time. We have some time, so other people can just chime in with answering the
Yes,
question.
please.
Go
What are
ahead,
you
go ahead.
unapologetically authentic about?
Should I start calling names?
I'll jump in.
Uh-oh.
I
Uh-oh.
am unapologetically authentic with communicating with others. It's just so easy for us to not pick up the phone. It's so easy for us not to do the extra mile and reach out. And whether I'm feeling good or not, I will just reach out to family members, to friends, to those people who I feel do not have that support group. And sometimes it's very draining. It can be very draining, but I find just the personal comfort, personal passion in reaching out and communicating with others.
I love it. Thank you, Deborah. All right, let's keep it going. Who's next? Elizabeth, what are you unapologetically authentic about?
I would say, in short, it's sharing my journey and my story with people that I'm connected to. I think that it deepens our level of understanding and even inspiration and motivation. Insert all of these other words that you can really manifest within those relationships. I think even when it comes to, one of my passions being to work with people to allow them to feel and understand their capabilities and really to empower them. And I think when it came to the barriers, sometimes I feel as though that's not so integrated in my work as much as it could be, because I feel as though me trying to figure that stuff out almost takes away from my ability to impact those relationships, when in reality, asking myself that better question, what is the impact? It's that my story and my journey, as convoluted and as messy as it might feel, still adds value to those relationships, right? And so I think it's important to not be fearful of what my own business journey has taught me when I'm speaking to clients, because it does hold value and it does help them to say, okay, well, if who I'm working with has also been through this, then there is something that I can learn from her. And so just not being fearful of that holding me back from deepening those relationships, but in fact, it's adding value.
Love it. All right, we're on fire. Let's keep going, ladies. Come on. Thank you, Elizabeth. All right, Karen's going to start calling names. She's going to start pulling cards.
Marie, welcome. You are one of our guests this evening, Marie. Are you able to talk? What are you unapologetically
authentic
about? Marie, are you on? I'm calling upon her, but she is splitting her time, so I'm glad she stayed for the entire event tonight.
Oh, that's nice. So good. All right, what about you, Ashley?
Well, we have another young person, Shauna K. You have not said anything. Could you speak up? I'm calling on you.
I would say that I'm apologetic about my past, because it has made me who I am today, and it's the reason it ignites my purpose, basically. Because of my past, it makes me have a passion for helping people and sharing my story, so that other people would feel comfortable with what they're going through and encourage them through what they're going through. So I would say that it's my past. At a certain point, I was kind of ashamed of it, but now I'm proud of it. It has made me who I am. So.
All right. Listen, it's a chapter in the book, right?
Yeah.
I think all of us probably have moments of our past, maybe decisions we made or didn't make, things we did or we didn't do that we could look at and think that they define us. But I am of the mindset that it was an experience, right? It is not who I am. It was an experience, right? I'm a big supporter of Interval House, which is domestic violence. I experienced family domestic violence growing up, intimate partner violence in a boyfriend relationship in high school. And I'm trying to get them and others to read language using the term victim. Victim is a label. It is who people are in some people's minds. And I would like us to move to a language of, I experienced domestic violence, right? But that is not who I am. That is not a label. That is not, it is a chapter in my history book, but it is not who I am. Just like today, we don't refer to people as slaves. We refer to people who were enslaved. We refer to the condition in which they experience, right? So we experience conditions, we experience things in life, but that does not mean that they define us. It does not mean that they should be attributed to our character for forever and a day. They are building blocks. They are experiences. They are in the history book, but they are part of, but they are not the whole. So thank you for sharing that. All right, Ashley, I'm crowning you. She's like, why does she keep coming for me?
I was like, oh, I hope she doesn't call on me. I've been thinking about it. I think I'm unapologetically, authentically myself. I know in my generation, there's a lot of influence, social media, and in terms of appearance, with shape and hair and all of these other things. And I think throughout my journey, is what somebody else mentioned, their journey, I think I've stayed authentic to myself with all of that outside influence. And I think it's so important for me. It's something I stand on. But yeah, I think that's the first thing that comes to my mind right now. I can't think of anything else, but I think I would say for someone in my generation, it's a powerful statement for me.
Excellent. Thank you. All right,
Jessica.
I'm just gonna start calling. Yep, Jessica. Jessica Perez, what are you unapologetically authentic about?
Jessica is not able, she's not in a position to answer. She's listening, but she's working.
Okay.
So
Okay. Got it. Got it. Okay. Patty, how about you then? She's like,
okay. I am not going to apologize, I guess, for being a strict parent, for not letting my child ever, any of my kids could ever go inside a neighbor's house or spend the night. I've gotten a lot of criticism over that, or letting them dress a certain way or hang out with certain people. Just like Ashley, for never allowing, even as a young person and even today, my surroundings to influence me. I can be in a group and say, I don't drink, I'm not going to smoke, I'm not going to be part of certain behaviors. So I don't feel ashamed and I don't feel bad about saying I'm not into that.
Yeah, very good. That's called constitution of character, right? Like being clear about who you are, what you want, what you don't want, and being consistent. It's intentional, yes, but the consistency is everything. So, all right, nice. Okay, Deborah. Now I'm just gonna start calling on people. Deborah in her nice recliner. Oh no, not Deborah Moxham. Oh,
there's two Deborahs, but it's only because Deborah, the real Deborah Moxham, shared her link with Peaches. So Peaches is who you're asking.
Peaches. Okay, well, Peaches. In your comfy recliner there or something. You got a nice chair from what I can see.
Yeah, it is comforting. One of the things that you said is that, instead of me saying, why is this happening for me? Why is this happening to me? Why not say, why is this happening for me? And I from a spiritual I come from a spiritual background, and so a lot of times when things happen, I'm not going to say I apologize for, like Patty said, that some of the things I never let my kids do, like never sleep over at somebody's house, or they can't go to certain places. Why can't I go to this party, or why can't I participate in this event like Halloween and all those stuff? And because of my spiritual upbringing, I teach them differently. And so now that have gotten older, they're doing what they want to do. But the ones that are still here, I cannot apologize for raising them the way that I did. And it's because of the way that I grew up. I grew up in a Christian background. I grew up with a certain belief. And so I am not going to apologize for that. I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, very clearly.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, I think that's important, right?
Yes.
Thank you, Peaches. I'm getting the names mixed up. All right. Does anybody else want to chime in before we get ready to close this out? No? As they like to say in the church, all hearts and minds clear? Yes? Excellent. Oh, Tracy, you're welcome. I guess I should have a little bit of wisdom, right? I'm pushing 50. Life should have taught me some things right now. Well, this was...
If that was true, a lot of people would be wise. You applied your experience.
That's true. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I am an advocate. I am very intentional about being an evolutionary woman, right? And that just means that every day I should learn something that makes me better tomorrow, whether that's intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, whatever it is. So I'm an avid learner of life and taking every experience and trying to grow from it. So with that, I have learned from all of you tonight. So I thank you so much for your time, for your participation. Sorry about the little kerfuffle there with technology, but good old Zoom, I tell you. But I hope it was good time spent. I hope it has either prompted or helps you to stay on an introspective journey of yourself, who you are, what you want for yourself. And even if you're not sure, I hope that some of the discussion and the tools and the document will help you to explore that. And oh, you're welcome. Oh, really dope. He stuck around for it. Mine doesn't even stick around for it. Golly. How can he teaches classes? But this is really good. And I would say the one last thing is know that life is in itself iterative, and so are you. So who you are tomorrow will be different. What you want for yourself in this season of life, whatever that is, it might transform into something different down the road. And I think the best thing we can do is, if it's a good thing, be open to it, embrace it, and live that full life, and do so unapologetically authentic. So with that, thank you, Karen, for having me. Thank you, everybody, for showing up and participating. And I look forward to jumping in again sometime, just to listen and learn, and not be the speaker, but continue being a good hearer. So
great. Thank you so very much, Yvonne. Thank you for your time. Thank everyone for their time. Yvonne will be again she'll be actually our speaker at our last event, the last of the year. Look at me, December 14th. She will be speaking. Her topic again will be Unapologetically Me, and that will be at our gala on December 14th. Look out for the flyer. I hope everyone here will be able to join us. On next month, we're actually having a Father's Day dinner. We are doing a community event at the People's Ballroom, and this is free for single fathers with children. So if you know any single fathers, reach out to any of us in the chat. Reach out to me. It's a free event, dinner for fathers. That was the only day we could have We were hoping to do it closer to Thanksgiving, but it's November 3rd. Free event for fathers. Reach out for any information. You'll see it posted. If you know of a father who is single or a great father, sign them up. Let them come out and enjoy the evening. In November, on November 16th, we will have our presentation, and that will be financial trauma, because we all have gone through it, especially our Black and brown people. That should be very interesting discussion again for all of us. Sometimes we have done things the same way over and over again without realizing why we do things, how we do things, and the reason why we choose to do things the way we do it. And sometimes the things that we do are trauma-based, and we're not even realizing it. And December 14th, look out for a gala. Join us. Tickets will be available. Thank you all for your time. Thank you all for staying with us. All 19 of people fell off, but maybe they had somewhere to go. And thank you again, Yvonne. We enjoyed that. We really did enjoy it. Thank all the WISE members for sticking around. Actually, if you're a WISE member, could you just raise your hand so people can see it? And we are always taking applications for new members. Feel free to join us at any point. Thank you. Good night.
Night.